What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Dr. Dennis Woods. Now, this brother is out of Chicago, and he was going to, ask him a few questions because this brother is in ministry, and I'm pretty sure he has a lot of information he could share with us today about the community. So, Dr. Woods, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on with you today.
All right, Dr. Woods, for people that don't know, anything about you, could you tell people just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm the pastor of Power of the Holy Ghost Deliverance Ministries. We have an outreach ministry in the Chicago area. We were in the nursing home ministry for many years until COVID-19 started. We're also in the broadcast ministry. Been on the radio in Chicago for 20 years. We also have a podcast ministry. And so my wife and I work together in the ministry. I'm also the president of Life the Legacy LLC, which is a book publishing company. We publish authors all over the United States, pastors and things like that. We have a number of people that we publish books for. And then my primary business is I'm in Couples Mentoring Youth and Family Services. It is a social service agency where we service kids that are in care both in the states of Illinois and Indiana. So I have a 2-state operation, a number of people that do that for us. So that's kind of what I do, and then I write books. So.
All right. So you say you counsel a lot of couples, is what you were saying?
Yeah. Well, the name of our business is Couples Mentoring Youth and Family Services. Mm-hmm. What it is an innovative mentoring program where my wife and I started mentoring children to get as a couple. So that's what it was. It was not so much that we mentor couples, but we were the couple that was doing the mentoring. And then I wrote a program for that, and it took off. And so that's what we do. So we offer a number of services: mentoring, tutoring, in-home psychotherapy, case management, supervised visitation, parenting education, number of services for the state of Indiana and for a number of agencies in Chicago.
No, you mentioned in Chicago. Now, in the city of Chicago, we know, some of the issues and problems that's there. But what do you define, if you could say 3 things that you have, paid attention to from the time you started, within your ministry and business to now? What's the 3 things that you define as like, what happened? We got to get past this. Can you give me those 3 things? Well,
I think that a lot of the things that are affecting our youth and particularly in many of the communities that would be considered at risk. Number 1 is the lack of opportunities, a lack of opportunities, economic development, the lack of resources that are put into the schools, the lack of community things for children to do to get engaged in, the lack of family, a lot of times family structure. And you take all of those things and you put them together in a high-tech world that projects a different type of lifestyle. It projects that everything is great and everything is lovely. We live in a society now where you could create an alter self. You can get on one of these apps and you can make your face look different. You can be somebody else than who you really are. You take this type of milieu, this type of societal environment that is charged with a lot of racial tension, political tension, and all of that, and you throw all of these things into the mix. And so people have to navigate through all of that. So when it comes to particularly our youth, it depends on the areas where you live in. As you know, Black people are not monolithic. You have Black people that live in upscale neighborhoods. You got them living in middle class neighborhoods, and you have people that are living in areas that are poverty stricken, and usually that's where a lot of your crime and stuff is going to be. So in my business, what we find is a lot of families are losing their children for it could be for neglect, it could be for abuse, it could be a parent went to jail and the kids end up in the system. So once they're in the system, then they have to navigate through that system, and that's where my agency comes in to provide services for that.
So you mentioned family, and I don't know your age, but I can assume you've seen a time where the black family was together. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, I'm 65, so I'm a baby boomer. So I have definitely things are a little different.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so based on the time when you saw, mom and dad in the household, you better be in the house before the street lights come on. More respect in the community. What happened to the black family? Like, if you could say these things happened, what actually happened to us? Because right now we're not even recognizable.
Right. Well, I think well, one of the things that the attack on the family, some of it I think is cultural. Some of it goes back to slavery. Some of it was intentional. The intentional aspect, for example, years ago when I was a kid coming up, when a mother was on welfare, you could and she had babies, she got subsidies for the children. But one of the things that couldn't be in the house was a daddy. Dad couldn't be in the house. If you remember I think that was Julia with James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll, I think, or Claudine. No, it was Claudine. I think that was the one. And he was dating this what was it? It was a movie. He was dating a woman that had all these kids and all of that. And the social worker would come and check to see if it was a man in the house and things like that. So I think we had a whole generation of black people who were even raised under those situations. Now, the interesting thing about that is back in the 60s, where black people were kept out of high-paying jobs and out of they were just kept out of things. People had to do what people had to do, and so one of the things I think that that militated against the family structure was you had outside influence from the government that encouraged black women to have the babies, get on welfare, but not have a man involved. You had that part, but then also it goes even historically when you go back to the chattel slavery, where families could be broken up. Black men were used as studs, as breeders, to breed people, in this whole mindset of having kids and not taking care of them, and that's how you validated your manhood, simply by siring a child and all of that. And so you take all of these things, all of these cultural, all of these things that were forced on black people. I think over time, all of these things mixed together. There's a strange confluence and mixture that all of these things play a part. Now, and trying to unravel and just pick out one thing is difficult, because these are multi-layered issues in our societies. And so I think those are some of the things that you have: societal things, you have cultural things, and you have systemic things that all have effect on black people as a whole. But like I say, we are not monolithic. Not all black people are on welfare. Some are doing very well. Some live in good, nice neighborhoods. And so, I just think that we have to give credit where credit's due, but call out what we need to help ourselves, and stop looking for other people to do stuff for us. We have to do our own thing.
So Dr. Woods, what year would you say that those policies came in? What year you could think about, like off the top of your head? What year?
Well, I think these. See, I'm not a social scientist, so I don't or a sociologist. I don't know that from a statistical basis, but I do know it's coming up. We actually used to live in the projects in Chicago, but we didn't live in the tall buildings. They had different types in Chicago. They had their high rises, the 16-story structures, to which are all torn down in Chicago now. And they had the more sprawling, spread out communities. We lived in one of those project communities, and I would say during the 60s, all of these things had to be created as blacks migrated from the South and came to the North, looking for opportunities. And so my parents came up, my dad was from Mississippi, my mom came up from North Carolina. She was born in Oklahoma, but I think she came up from Logan, West Virginia. So as blacks came to look for opportunities in the North, it's just how the systems, and particularly in northern cities, how they began to deal with black people and how they began to put them in public housing to actually control their vote and also to control them. So, I think this is the 50s and the 60s.
Okay, so because see, when that I definitely know, like I said, the government, had a lot to do with, putting in policies, say black men couldn't be in a home, but at the same time, the same government probably was the early 70s. Start shipping out all the work that black men normally would get to China, Taiwan, and all these different places, all the manufacturing jobs. So black men lost jobs. Like you got a place like Detroit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
City, they shipped out all the jobs away, and where black men normally get the jobs, then they put the black family in a problem. Then they say, man, we need to feed these kids. And within this policy, that's why I was trying to figure out when this came in, because was it after Lyndon Johnson? Was it Carter pushing those policies? Because, I'm just, as I study this, I'm looking at, a lot of the one particular party that black folks are, so faithful to, have put in a lot of policies to destroy the black family. It's like after the civil rights movement, and we fought, our ancestors fought and died and everything, got the Fair Housing Act, got the Civil Rights Act, got the Voting Rights Act. Yeah. It's like, okay, after that, they went into, okay, let's see if we can start breaking the family, because the family was the foundation. The black church was the foundation to springboard a lot of those movements. I mean, you lived through it more than me. I'm just being a student of history when I'm talking like this, right?
Well,
so, go ahead.
Well, I think one of the things that they did, in the years preceding Malcolm and Martin, this is me personally now. I think there was a more insidious move to reframe a black culture from this positive, we can do this thing ourselves, we're standing for our rights. But how they did it is they did it through Hollywood. They did it through black exploitation movies. There was a series of movies that then started coming out with Dolomite and the Superfly and all of the Mac and all of these things. And it changed, I think, a great deal. It switched from social activism to more of a type of imagery to where they wanted to show the black man as being pimps.
Yeah, like Willie Dynamite.
And successful drug dealers. And showing the bling. You see, because if you really want to control a society, you have to do it through the media. And see, this is what we just got a great lesson on this the last 4 years. If you say something long enough, loud enough, people will believe it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
propaganda.
That after the gains of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, there was a counter narrative that was injected into black culture through films and through television. And I think a lot of that reshaping took us in another direction. Now that's me. I don't necessarily have any data for that, but I'm just saying that media has a lot to do with how people see themselves and how they are projected.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened is just, and what we know is, okay, the brothers and sisters fought and died, got everything they needed to get, and then white supremacy continued on the attack, but they went another route. They know they couldn't get you with the dogs and the water hoses, so they say, well, let's wage a propaganda campaign with black exploitation movies. And not only because they had to demonize the image, because see, Martin Luther King was smart enough to do a lot of those marches where it could be seen on TV and could be seen throughout the world. He was smart with that, right?
Right.
And what they wanted to do is, like you said, demonize the image of definitely the black man. You know this, especially today, the straight, heterosexual black male who's an alpha male, he's so under attack today, like fiercely attacked. You notice that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
They
absolutely.
don't want no strong black man around at all. Now, if you put on a dress and you out here twerking as a man, they gonna love you in America. They're gonna love you to death.
Mm-hmm.
But not no straight black man that's talking about taking a stand. No, you the enemy. It's toxic masculinity. What do you think about even that term, toxic masculinity? What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Actually, I must admit I'm not up on all the terminology. But if you just go for the definitions of the words toxic masculinity, you got to help me out with that. What is this?
Well, basically what they're saying is it's extremely toxic to be a alpha male. It is the most horrible thing in the world to be a stand-up, strong alpha male who take care of his family, who take care of their children, who don't put up with no crap from nobody. Definitely not going to bow down to white supremacy, right? For sure, in the black community. So they weaponize that and call that toxic today, right? But as long as you walking around, like you say, put on a dress as a male, whether you a so-called comedian putting on a dress, right? That's what they accept from black men today.
Well, I think that's something that you also see as there's the other terminology that is used for black females. The angry black woman and all of that. They were trying to paint Kamala Harris that way. She was there. That's how she's so angry. She's so mean and nasty. And then so they do that with our women. And they also, like you say, with this toxic masculinity, where where you have a dominant alpha male, a person that's going to take leadership and charge over his destiny, and that's going to be discouraged. And so, but we've seen that historically. We've always seen that. I think the whole idea of the famous Willie Lynch letters, where they discouraged. How do you discourage these alpha males and these strong? What you do is you break them in front of everybody. And I think that that's one of the things that we often see.
Now, the question I was talking to you before we got started, what I'd like to ask you, like based on some things I'm just seeing, and I was so frustrated the other day, brother, because we have so much potential to do the greatest things in the planet Earth. Like I said, we make up our mind, we get the whole world talking, right? I mean, you can go back to the George Floyd situation, right? The whole world started protesting against racism, white supremacy, and actually taking a stand when black folks, take a stand, right? But one thing that it bothers me is that due to all that great potential, it's like some of us just are comfortable not really doing what the brothers and sisters did in your time period, was to create businesses, do for self. That's what something the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always pushed, doing for self, creating our own schools, educating ourselves. We can complain all day about how racist the teachers are, how racist they are in the medical system, how racist they are in all these different fields. But yet a lot of us still want to be, had that, master's ice is colder than black people. So, based on something that I'm saying, even the way we vote as well, a lot of times, I was saying, and I want to hear your opinion to it. I believe 2/3 of us personally, globally, in our community, I don't believe we're gonna make it. What's your opinion of that?
Well, I just think that in order to make it and to be a successful people, that we do have to take charge of a lot of our economic situations and our educational situations, and create business opportunities in our own communities. One of the things I remember, my wife and I did a lecture for a marriage retreat some years ago, and one of the things we were talking about is economics and black empowerment. And one of the things we were saying is there's not any millionaires in the ghetto, but there's millions of dollars in the ghetto. And there are other cultures who have figured that out. So this is why you see a lot of like in Chicago, you see a lot of the Palestinians and other people coming in, the Koreans with the hair products, and the Palestinians with all the small stores that don't sell nothing but junk. You know, so the thing is, they figured this out. Look, if I get a bunch of poor people bringing me $2 or $3 a day, in a year's time, I'd have made $1 million. Now, none of those people have $1 million, but the $1 million is there. So what that tells me is there's power in our communities. There's money, there's wealth, there's ingenuity there. But we've been conditioned to be consumers so long, we think when we go to work, all we should do with our money is spend it because we worked hard. And if I want to go get that beer, I want to go get that cigarette, I want to go get this or that, then I worked hard all week and I deserve to kick my feet up and buy a TV. So what that does is it keeps us in the mindset of being consumers, you know, and we can break out of that mindset of being consumers by we have to learn how to save. We have to learn how to invest. You know, I got a lot of friends right now. People are talking about, you know, they want to get a Tesla. They want to buy a new iPhone. Yeah, but what I like Tesla. I like Apple, but I like Tesla stock better. I like Apple stock better. So the bottom line is, and what we as Black people have to do as business owners and people that have made it is to share information with people. And so that's what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of economic empowerment in our communities, even the poor ones. And that's why people set up in our community. They're going after the black gold. There's a lot of black gold, even in impoverished communities. As these drug dealers, they're coming at why are they rich? They're rich because people bring in $3 and $4, $10 here, $10 there, and you got a bunch of people doing that. Then that way, you're creating a revenue flow. And so the bottom line is, if we can get out of this mindset of being consumers, you work to get money. If you get a job and things like that, learn how to save, learn how to invest, and look for things that services that you could do for people. You know, my wife and I, we created a business just by mentoring kids. And one day, a kid gave me an idea for what to call the business, because we were doing mentoring for someone else. And my wife and I was doing it together. And the one day I went by myself to pick the young man up, and my wife couldn't come. And so what ended up happening was I went to get the kid by myself, and the kid asked me, well, where's your wife? At that point, he realized that both of us was his mentor. And I said, wow, technically I'm your mentor, but he's seen us both. And that's why I came up with the concept, couples mentoring. And then we took that, I wrote up some programs and started marketing. Next thing you know, it took off. Now, everybody's business might not be like that, but we have to try. We can't be afraid to fail. Okay. And so that's what I would like to say, you know, Black empowerment, try to do things in the community, save your money. Stop trying to just be a consumer. Every dollar you get, you got to transfer it to somebody else. You know, saving, learning how to invest, open up an E-Trade account, do things that you can do, even if it's a little at a time. Learn how to do things to improve yourself, because trust me, no one's gonna come and rescue you. You know, we're gonna have to learn how to do things for ourselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to learn to do things for yourself. And you know, I'm also on a mission now, like I say, just to find our particular tribe throughout the Black community. Those who want to do what you're talking about, like have the Apple stock, those who want to have the Tesla stock, those who want to do options trading or whatever they would like to do, right? And I know they're out there. Just my only issue at times is those who don't want to do it are usually the loudest ones in the room. And those that need, you know, that kind of information, like you're saying, those people are trying to drown them out, or those people are trying to, oh, you don't need to do all that, trying to talk them out of certain things. I know you've seen that before. People just try to talk people out of you know, things that could really help them, right? And so that's the level, you know, my war against ignorance, you know, has to be increased, because ignorance is really hurting our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I mean by that. But well, one of the things, like I'm the first person in my family to own a home. You know, my mom, my mom and dad are both going on now and going on to be with the Lord. And my brother passed away. Neither one of them ever owned a home and things like that. And so what I'm saying is, yeah, not everybody's gonna buy a share of Tesla stock. Tesla stock is like $800 a share, right? But the thing is, so you not everybody's at that level. But the thing is, what my main concern is we have to learn how we're very good consumers. We're very good, and I'm talking about those of us that have jobs. We're very good at working for our money. That's 8 hours you can never get back. What you've given in exchange for your life energy, for your life that day, is a dollar amount. So you could so that dollar amount represents the energy, the work that you did for that company that day. You could either take that money and go and just buy cigarettes and pizza and Diet Coke and be a consumer and just simply make it and transfer it to someone else, or you can figure out a way how to keep some of it to build on. And that's basically my message. Now, I know everybody's not in that situation. Some people are unemployed and all that. I'm just saying that we have been conditioned to be consumers and not leaders. We can be conditioned to be followers and not the alpha male. We have been conditioned to be dependent. And so what we have to do is we have to use our technology, our ingenuity. And, you know, a lot of people don't know the first Black self-made millionaire was Madam C.J. Walker. That's white or Black women. Okay, first self-made multimillionaire in the United States was Madam C.J. Walker. There's a lot of things that Black people have done and that we can do. Black Wall Street was a good example. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. The most sprawling thriving business community of wealthy Blacks, bank owners, hotel owners, business owners, insurance company owners, all of that. Beautiful churches, beautiful homes, burnt to the ground by an angry mob of white folks who were jealous, who didn't, and they tried to hide that story. We as a people, after Reconstruction, when the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, within 10 years, Black people were in the highest echelons of American government. It's called Reconstruction. 600,000 Black men voted into office, hundreds through these southern states and all of that. Put them in political office and all of that. White people were so afraid of that they changed the laws, they changed everything, came up with the Black codes, all of that, and found ways to put us back into a system of repression. But the bottom line is the story, the underlying story of that is we were able to do it. When given a chance, we were able to do it. And I think there's people out there that understands our ability better than we do, and that's why they fight so hard to keep us down. The bottom line is we as a culture, we as a people, we can do a lot. And we're not necessarily out to get revenge type of people. Yeah, I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I said, marching Black people on Washington would have never thought in a million years to go take the Capitol over, to take the government over. Now, we have marched for rights and things like that, but to overthrow the government, see, you have to walk in a level of privilege to even assume that you can even do something like that. We would have never done that. Our thing has always been, can we just have what we're supposed to have? You know, can you just like let us alone so we can do our thing and we'll be fine. Not trying to take over the world, not trying to displace everybody. I'm not trying to do that. Just let me be. And so that's my message. You know, I was here to talk about my book, but you know, we own this. So hey, God bless it.
Hey, man, I mean, shoot, you know, the organic conversation is the best way to go. But Dr. Woods, I said, because we're gonna have to wrap up here. Tell people a little bit how they can get your book, and
okay.
You know, let people know how they can get your book,
all right.
And how they can maybe get in contact with you in case they have any questions or may want to inquire about any of your services.
Right. Well, this book that you see is called "You Must Know the Times." It's answers to 25 essential questions on end time prophecy. I am a minister. I believe I believe the Bible narrative and the Bible prophecy and all of that. So my book, as a Christian, is about end time Bible prophecy. What's going on with the mark of the beast, the Antichrist? What's going on in Israel? 25 essential questions about end time prophecy. Then I have another book called Revelation Revolution, the Antichrist, Angels, and the Abyss. I released both of these books very recently. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on iTunes. It's my publishing company, so I released them all over the world. Also, if you are an author and you're interested in publishing a book, all you have to do is give us a call. It's 877-267-7477. And we can get further into the conversation about my books or about being published, or if you want us to come out and do speaking engagements and things like that, or some stuff on the Zoom, that we can do that as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to thank Dr. Woods today for giving us some knowledge, and definitely visiting some things in history that he got to experience, because our community definitely has suffered the assault of white supremacy. It didn't just start on January the 6th. It's been going on for hundreds of years. So Dr. Woods, is that we appreciate you. Definitely may you and your family be blessed.
Thank you so much for having me on, and God bless you and your audience.